No one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber. We love plumbing. That's the kind of a thing. Is that an epiphany? Okay, no one wanted to wants to call you, but they did, so they're already sold. Hey, plumbing pros, welcome to the 448th episode of Potty Talk. I'm your host, Richard Bainey, the $1 Million Plumber, along with my co-host, the lovely Laura. And in today's episode, it's titled, Turn Calls into Book Jobs Every Time.
Every time? Every time?
And it can be every time.
Whoa.
All right?
Okay.
All right, if you do these things.
Okay.
This is such an important thing, and I'm looking forward to going over these things. Okay, I'm going to share some things with you. If you do these things, you're going to be successful. If you don't do these things,
you're going to die.
Well, at best, you're going to struggle, okay? And a lot of companies are struggling because they're not doing these things, and they're simple things to take care of.
Super
okay?
simple.
Before we get into it, I just want to say, hey, thanks for being here. I'm glad to have you here.
Yes.
It's good to have you here. Please.
Give us a like.
Yes.
Give us a follow. Give us something. Give us something.
Give us some love.
Give us a review, whatever your favorite podcast platform is, or on YouTube, or whatever it might be. But yeah, we love the comments. We love when you guys interact with us, and we also love the love.
Love the love. All right. Okay. So hey, yeah. So this is a big problem. Okay.
Okay.
On answering the call.
Okay.
And the call and the way we call is so important. What's happening right here at the beginning. I mean, even to the point. This is the sales process right now. By the way, no one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber.
Correct.
Okay. But they called you. They're already sold. All this sales concern and all that kind of stuff. We're not able to close the calls, or we get out not close the calls. A lot of the problem starts way back at when they called you. You lose the sale right then. So no matter what your plumber says, you kind of lost the sale already back at the call. All right, so this is so important. Okay. So the first thing here, what's the first thing?
The
first thing is hire a CSR.
And a CSR stands for Customer Service Representative.
There we go. The worst person not answering the phone is you, the plumber business owner. Okay.
So
No,
true.
but I get them. I'm able to book the calls, and I sell it. The worst person to answer the call is you, the plumber business owner.
Yes, because as soon as some Mrs. Jones, who we lovingly refer to as our residential service customer, as soon as Mrs. Jones gets you on the phone, then she is going to drill you with questions. How much? What do you think is going to give me a ballpark? Whatever it might be, right? Or, and I've heard some companies doing this now. The plumber business owner will just send me a picture of it. Text me a picture. You just completely undervalued yourself,
Yes.
100%. That you're willing just to go look at pictures and then shoot back a price and whatever. Man, you are a dead man plumbing doing
Yes.
that. 100%.
Yep.
So
Definitely.
So you're the worst person answering the phone also, because then Mrs. Jones thinks, okay, well, this is probably a plumber because it's a guy. So I'm going to just, he surely can give me a price. And that's you don't want to give a price over the phone. Also, you as a plumbing business owner feel compelled to give a price, or feel compelled to try to fix it over the phone. Because in your mind, because you're a plumber and you're a man and you're trying to fix things, you're mentally fixing it while you're on the phone with the customer.
Yes.
Right? You're mentally fixing it, and you might even talk yourself out of the job. Right?
Are you accusing me of back in the
Never.
Exactly, which happens. Okay, and so the customer calls in, you're under a sink or whatever, so you sound distracted. You're not there focusing. You're not giving them the service, and then find out what their job is. That does happen. You're in your day here. I don't want to look at a sewage ejector. So I have an opening next Thursday. That kind of thing. Which
Both of never.
Right. Exactly. All right. And so you got to get you off the phone.
Yes.
Period. Okay. And so, what we're looking for, look for a CSR. That's what we call plumbing power couples too. A lot of times they're wide. It's great. You don't need to know plumbing, by the way. Okay, you don't need to know plumbing.
Nope.
All right.
I didn't know the first thing about
plumbing. Don't
plumbing.
need to know plumbing.
Other than I knew we had plumbing in our house. That was the extent of my knowledge of plumbing. And obviously you were a plumber, but I didn't know anything. And when we started our business, I'm answering the phones. I have 3 kids. We've had kids. They were ages 9, 5, and 3 months old. So I answered the phone, and we knew from the beginning I'm not going to try to solve things over the phone, right? Because I can't. So I was just a sympathetic, empathetic voice, and book the calls.
Right. So so I recommend what we say. We teach this in the academy. Hire a woman, a female.
Yes.
Female voice. I mean, there's studies, and we go into that. There's studies and all that. I know it's not PC. Look,
it don't matter.
But it don't matter. Just like a woman and mother shouldn't be on the front line fighting. Okay, all right. Men shouldn't be answering the phones for plumbing businesses because of what we're just talking about. Male voices make women uncomfortable. Okay, guys, don't realize I care, but they make women uncomfortable. All right, they'll assume you're the plumber. I know it's not PC. They say to male, it was female plumbers too. I'm not going to get into that, but the bottom line is they believe that most men are plumbers. So if there's a guy answering, plumbing, so you ought to be able to tell me how much things cost and what I need to do. Okay, and so we just need to get. A woman works best because of what you mentioned, and we'll get into that. That leads into the next point here.
Okay, well, so if we're hiring a CSR, I don't know if you want to kind of wrap that point up, right?
Because it is key. You want to hire number one, all right. To be able to turn a call into a booked call, all right. We need to get you off the phone. So you need to hire a CSR, okay? Need to get you off the phone because you are the worst person, the plumber, business owner, to be on the phone, okay? So hire a CSR. Really recommend hiring a female, okay? Yes. In the best case scenario is now it's time for the wife to join the family business.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes, all right. Become a plumbing power couple and get the wife on the phone. And again, wife, you don't need to know the very first single solitary thing about plumbing. You don't need to know anything. All you need to do is know how to be friendly and empathetic and use a computer and get the calls booked.
Exactly.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Hey, while we have you here, let me give you something here because I'm going to be hitting on these next 2 points. You don't miss these points. I'm going to be hitting on you hard. So I'm going to give you something for free. All right. To kind of ease the pain. All right. My $1 Million Plumber Blueprint. Hey, you've heard me say it, man. You wouldn't plumb a house out of a blueprint. So why are you trying to build your business without one? Grab my $1 Million Plumber Blueprint. Okay. It's free. All right. All right. Stop risking. All right. Years of wasted time and money and possibly failure. Okay. 95% of all plumbing businesses fail. Well, the sad point is, of those that do make it, so supposedly making it, 97% of those are just living week to week, job to job, just barely surviving. Okay, all right. Get my blueprint. You get out of that. Okay, simply go to $1milliondollarplumber.com/free. That's $1milliondollarplumber.com/free, and grab my $1 Million Plumber Blueprint. All right, there we go.
Okay, so we're talking about turning calls into booked jobs every time.
Okay, important point number one, gold nugget number one. All right, hire a CSR. Okay, get you off the phone. All right, number two. All right, control the call. All right, we want to control the call. Okay, so first of all, when we answer, we want to be human. Okay, we want to be, and by human, the human characteristic of being empathetic. Okay, so we want a feeling of not data entry. Data entry. That's what I'm trying to get.
Data taker.
Data taker. I hate that. Don't you hate that? Don't you call someone place and you're just treated like a number? It sounds like you're just getting your information.
Right. Name.
Right.
Address.
Okay.
Phone number.
Right. Keep in mind this is a start of the sales process. The sales process is starting here. I mean, the official of them meeting you is starting right here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you want to show that you care. So what's an example?
I want to say one thing. Because, you live in the real world, and just think about the interactions that you have with other customer service reps. When you call someplace or maybe walk in, I'm going to say 7 out of 10 times, they're just rude. Even though they're in a customer service position, you would think, okay, you took a customer service position. Right. Surely you knew you were going to deal with customers, but they're typically rude. So it's so easy, you guys, hear us. It's so easy to stand out.
Today.
It's so easy. If you have your CSR answering the phones that's kind, friendly, empathetic, sympathetic, your business is going to stand out. And here's the other thing. You're not just competing from a customer service standpoint. You're not just competing with the other plumbing companies. You're really not. From a customer service standpoint, you're competing with any company that offers customer service. You're competing with Walmart. You're competing with Nordstrom's. You're competing with anyone that offers customer service because you want to stand out, because that's what Mrs. Jones is going to remember. She's not necessarily going to go down to the basement after you've install the water heater and all the lines are nice and straight and all that. She ain't going to go down in there and look at that. What she's going to remember is how the person on the phone was. Were they friendly? Did they help me out? When the plumber came, was he friendly? That's what they're going to tell their neighbors. They're not going to call their neighbors and say, hey, come downstairs and check out these lines. Boy, they were really straight on the water heater. That isn't happening. If they're going to recommend your company, they're going to say, man, they were so friendly. They were so helpful. It was amazing. I'm so used to being treated like crap when I call places, but man, they went above and beyond. That is what you want to be. That's how you provide excellent customer service.
Exactly. As we said, no one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber. Nope. No one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber. We love plumbing. That's kind of a thing. I mean, is that an epiphany? Okay. No one wanted to call them, wants to call you, but they did. So they're already sold. But now they're judging now. Not on what they already believe. They called you out. They know you can do the work.
Right.
It ain't about the plumbing. It ain't about plumbing.
And give them a good experience.
They feel like, wow, they're sold right then. Okay, there's value in the price. Okay, we get in it, and they feel like you care about them as a person.
Right.
It ain't about the plumbing. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, because you're going into their house.
And especially right now on the call. I'm sorry on this kind of a thing because we hear this is where as guys we think, well, we got to be who's answering the call has to know about plumbing, and we answer that kind of thing. Because they're going to ask questions like how much does it cost? Okay, well, I need to be able to tell them talk about the job so I can give them a price because that's what they want to know is how much it costs. That's not what they really want to know. They ask how much it costs because that's an intelligent question to ask because no one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber. They don't know plumbing, even the guys. They know they're going to spend money.
The Mr. Joneses.
Right, the Mr. Joneses. They're out of control. It's an out of control situation. They got it. They want it, and they want it taken care of today.
Correct.
Okay, I'll get to that here in a moment here. All right, but it's out of control. So they're gonna, they don't know about it. So how much is it going to cost? That makes them sound intelligent. It's a way of grabbing control. All right, but that's not what they're concerned about. By the way, the number one concern when polled in all the studies. What was the last one I saw? Honestly, the last one I actually personally had my eyes on was 2019. So it's recent, and I still care. Human character.
Humans are the same.
It's the same way. Okay, all right. Is the number one concern is will they be able to get it taken care of today? That's the number one concern. Number two, followed closely behind that is will they even show up?
Will they show up?
Okay,
and that is frustrating. That's a public perception, right? Man, if you schedule somebody, show up.
Well, and we'll get to that, right? Okay.
Yes, all right.
But it is the concern is to show up today, okay? But they're going to pepper you with questions, and so part of staying in control is don't allow them to pepper you with questions. Okay, you got to control that. So if they ask you, well, how much does it cost? Well, sure, I can help you with that. We've done work for you before. You always want to come back with a question. That's what they open up with. That kind of a thing. But you're always coming back. Don't allow them to pepper you with questions.
Yeah, because they will. I mean, they will. If somebody's got to lead in the conversation, someone has to lead, and it needs to be your CSR. She's the one that needs to constantly lead. If the customer asks a question, answer it as best you can, other than if it's a price, and then you immediately respond back. So I've got an appointment available, between 1 and 3 today. Can we go ahead and schedule you for that? Well, I just was wanting blah, blah, whatever information. Whatever, and if you can give the information, but then the CSR comes back and says, so do you want to get that appointment? We'll call you when we're on the way. We'll text you when we're on the way. We can get a licensed plumber out to your house. Does that time work for you? So it's always coming back and asking the question so you control, because if not, the customer, they feel insecure because they're the ones now leading the conversation. They're not the professionals. They've not typically done this before. Most homeowners don't call plumbers, maybe 3 times a year. I mean, it's just not a common occurrence. So they're not, and they're just not, they don't know. They don't know. You do. You take, 10 to 15, 20 calls a day. So you do know what to expect. So you need to be the one that's controlling the conversation.
Exactly.
Your CSR, not you.
Right. So it's very important. You want to control the conversation, in that manner. All right. And then I think back to this. I was an air traffic controller in the Navy, and I was during my training. And it's a very intense time. Most people wash out. I'm kind of proud here. We had 26 that started, and 6 of us finished, the class. And it's common because it's pretty stressful. I had an old salty chief that was, in one of the trainings, and he was sitting back, and he was actually sitting in a chair and sitting back, and people getting nervous and a little uptight. And finally he said, hey, guys, stop. He just sat back in his chair and he said, look, why are you all uptight? You're on the ground. And that hit me because we were working with the computer systems or whatever, there's an emergency. So and I actually experienced one of these times. There was a fire in a cockpit, and the pilot, it's emergency, and all that. And you can tell even professional the voices get elevated and that kind of thing. Well, you can get wrapped up in that too. You can put yourself in that situation. There's no hot water, and the customer's all upset and kind of irate, kind of peppering you with questions and all. And don't let them bring you up to your level. You're not without hot water. You had hot,
their level.
Yeah, you had hot water this morning. You're comfortable. You're on the ground.
And you're the professional.
Right.
You're the professional.
So don't get caught up in their emotion, even because no one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber, and they're only calling with a problem that affected their lives, that just interjected itself into their lives. Okay.
It's a total disruption.
Right.
Total disruption in their day.
So relax with the customer. Be empathetic. Be assured. Assure the customer, hey, we got you taken care of.
Yeah. So this point is controlling the call, making sure you do control the call. When Mrs. Jones calls in, you're the one controlling it. Being human, being actually, and don't pretend to be human. And human, we mean sympathetic, empathetic. Be a real human. Care about this person. Care about that their day was interrupted, that there is a disruption in their schedule, whatever it might be. Man, care about it. And then let them know that you're going to take care of it. Give them the confidence and the assurance that this isn't my first rodeo. This isn't our company's first rodeo. We can handle this situation. I got you covered. That's how you control the phone call.
Hey, gang, I've said it before and I'll say it again. No one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber. When they do, it's because they need help. And that phone call, it's the start of the sales process. How you handle that call sets the tone for the entire customer experience. That's why I'm giving you my perfect call script to help you turn those calls into paying customers. And with this script, you'll make a great first impression that builds instant trust. Confidently guide the caller through questions to booking without sounding pushy. Answer those tough questions like, what's your hourly rate and do you charge a trip fee, in a way that works for you. You'll also discover how to book appointments smoothly, prevent cancellations, and leave every caller feeling like they made the right choice by calling you. Don't leave money on the table. Get my perfect call script today at milliondollarplumber.com/phone script. Every call is an opportunity to grow your business. Make it count. Right on, right on, right on. All right? And then finally, point number 3, and this is key.
What is it? What is it?
All right, this is vital. All right, listen up. Are you listening? Okay, if for those listening to the podcast, is your ear close?
Put your listening ears on.
Okay, and for those watching, okay. All right, lean in. Okay, there we go. And here it comes, all right? Book it for today. Book
your calls for today.
Every job for today. Book every job for today. I'm going to say it again.
No, you're not.
Are you leaning in? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It's extremely important. Right. Book every job for today. Okay? But it's just me. And there's 100 calls. And then another call comes in. Book it for today. All right?
Yes.
That is key to your success. You must do that.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I've created a problem now.
Yeah,
there's a problem that you want to have.
This is a great problem.
This is the problem that you dream of. You want to pray for this problem. You want to dream of this problem. You want to visualize this problem. You want
manifest this problem.
Or you want to live this problem. Okay? That it's you and another guy and you have 100 calls on the schedule. That's exactly what you
are the luckiest plumber.
For today, not scheduled throughout the whole month. Okay? By the way, that is a dead man driving.
That's what I'm going to talk about. Situation. Yes. So I know, and we get it. We get the feeling of having a full schedule for the next 2 weeks. Man, that feels so good. But if you're in residential service, that is the worst place you can possibly be because few reasons. You've spent money to get that customer. Somehow, some way, you've spent money to get that customer. And now you're telling them, I can't be out for 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 days, whatever it might be. So more than likely, they're going to find somebody else.
Yeah, you will lose that customer, so you spent that money, and they will never come back. And in their mind, they'll be, they can't take care of me.
They can't get to me. Right. So, making sure that as you book for today, I know you're going to talk about prioritizing the calls, right? So once you do have, whatever's on the schedule, all your calls you're going to prioritize. Prioritize for profit, as we like to say. Right. Prioritize for profit.
So as we teach on this, we call you're triaging the calls. But what you're doing is you're prioritizing for profit. Prioritizing for profit. There's nothing wrong with profit. It's not that, she called in first. This isn't a democracy kind of, and I like, right.
This is a benevolent dictatorship.
Right. Okay, this isn't first come, first serve. I was in the front of the line. Not. Okay, and the triage is the best word to use because that comes from, it's a medical term, okay? And it comes from, hospitals do it. I'm gonna age myself. I watched MASH back in the 70s.
It's a great old series.
Okay, and what is it? Medical Army, special hospital.
Something hospital.
Yeah. But the frontline, it's a frontline units, okay? And this is the way hospitals work. And hospitals work today because it came out of this from the Korean War. I mean, at this time, we had experiences in World War II, but the Korean War is where they actually put the kind of system together, where they're triaging the patients. The patients. And so you want to do the same thing with your calls. So what do you mean by triage? Well, when they triaged, it would be, they could have someone that could come in with a scrape. They got a, in the hospital or a cold or something silly. Okay. All right. But they were there first thing, right? And, I'm getting there first thing. I'll get the doctor to take care of me first thing. Okay. So they tell them to sit and wait a little bit. But then, 30 minutes later, someone comes in with a gunshot wound. Well, they're going to bring the gunshot wound right in to the doctor.
That's not fair.
And I was sitting there thinking, well, I was here first. I was actually the first one. I'm still sitting here. I've been nice. I smiled. I was nice to you. And patient, all that.
I'm going to pay.
Hey, right. Okay. Same thing goes with your plumbing business. Okay. You got to prioritize for profit. Okay. You got to triage the calls for profit.
Correct.
All right. And so, you may have a call that it's a slow lavatory drain. Okay. That called in first. But then, an hour later, you got a leaking water heater. Well, I make more money on a water heater than I do the slow drain. I'm going to the water heater.
Going to the water heater every single time.
Okay.
But then what you're going to do, you're going to communicate with the lab, slow drain, whatever person, right? That you're going to communicate with them and just let them know. We've had an emergency come up. We've got to take care of a customer. I'm going to move you to such and such time frame, whatever it might be. And as long as you're telling them in advance, right? You're not waiting until you're outside the 2-hour window that you gave them, and you're calling them and saying, "Yeah, sorry about you. I know I was supposed to be here a couple hours ago, but we had an emergency, and we're not going to be out for another couple hours." Now they're going to be ticked.
Right.
They're going to be ticked about that. So you're making sure that you are keeping them informed. You're calling them and letting them know. And we had our business for 18 years. Was the customers thrilled about it? No, probably not. I can't remember the amount of times where we had just an irate customers where they were just freaking out or whatever, because we kept them informed. Now, if we didn't, they're going to be irate. But as long as we're keeping them informed, they're going to be fine. But you have to prioritize for profit, because if not, those high emergency, high profit jobs are going to go somewhere else. And again, you spent money somehow, some way to get that call to come to you.
So you not only get that money, which is assured, if we work, you do things properly. Okay, here, just like. We're talking about, with having a CSR and the way you're answering the phones and the system and do these things. It's a for sure call. No one except morning wants to call a plumber, they called you, it's for sure. So you lose out on that for sure money and that repeat customer. That customer's gone. You'll never get that. You'll never get that customer again.
Right. The other dangerous part too is, in the morning you've got all the jobs lined up. Say you got 3 plumbers, and then you're using Field Pulse or whatever's your field management software, and each tech now has 4 jobs on them, and it's all nice and lined up. It's perfect.
It looks pretty.
Beautiful. Right. It's beautiful.
It's the perfect day.
It's the perfect day. And then a water heater or a high ticket call comes in, and then you're going to tell them, "Oh, sorry, we're booked for today." Well, they're going to find somebody else, more than likely. And what's going to happen? And you guys know this. You know this if you have a plumbing business. At least one of those jobs is going to fall off. At least one of them, whether they're going to call and cancel, whether when you get out there, they're going to be gone, whatever it might be. So that's another dead man plumbing thing, is thinking that I've got this perfect schedule for the day, and this is how it's going to be, and we're not taking any other calls till tomorrow.
But sadly, that's how
vast majority operate.
Okay. And again, that's why 95% of all plumbing businesses fail. And then of the ones that don't fail, 97% of those are just living job to job because this is what they're doing. Okay, you're missing out on this opportunity. And so you think, well, I'll make those customers mad. Now, if you communicate with them, what we found is that now they see you as a solution. Okay, you still get out there, they'll use you, okay, all right? And then they'll still think of you as a solution, so you still gain them as a customer, okay?
Yep.
So
I say give it a try.
Yep.
Give it a try for 30 days. See what happens. Now, you have to make sure you're communicating with these customers. You have to make sure that your CSR knows how to deal with those, and you let the CSR know what are some high priority calls that we want to make sure when they come in, man, we're moving them to the front of the line. Whatever it is, whatever it is in your area. For us, it was water heaters and sump pumps, because in Indiana, everybody had a basement. typically was finished, and so sump pumps and backup sump pumps were the thing, and those were high ticket. So our CSRs knew, boy, one of those came in, they are going to the front of the line every single time.
Right.
Every time.
Right. So you set that up. And so again, we say this is a great problem to have, all right? Because if you're going 2 or 3 days a week for a couple weeks in a row, all right, it's time to buy a truck and get another butt in that truck.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're having to go 2, 3 days a week where you're having to reschedule, and at the end,
Move the schedule
the afternoon you got to call some of them. You got to call 2 or 3, especially if you're having to reschedule 3 calls. It is that is just a sure point that now that's okay. I'm going to get another truck,
and I'm growing.
Right.
My business is growing. I need another truck. I need another tech, which is why I think we talked about in our last Potty Talk was always be recruiting, right? But that's what you got to get in your head. It's not great to be booked out for the entire week. That is not great. What that means is you need another plumber. You need another truck, and you need another plumber so that you can react and respond immediately to the calls that come in.
Exactly. You should be scared. I mean, it's going to flip. The emotion will flip. A lot of times, you start out, and if I had most of my week, with jobs on most of the days of my week, you feel like, oh, it's going to be a good week.
It's going to be good.
You need to flip that feeling. You need to be scared because those calls won't be there. The push is do many calls today. I want to overbook. Okay, I'm going to triage the calls. All right.
Not only be scared, but be happy. Be scared happy.
Be scared.
That's what you need to be. Scared happy, because that means your business is growing. You're growing enough to where customers are calling in, want your service. Your branding is working. Whatever you're doing in the community, they're online marketing, whatever is working. So you've got customers calling you. That means you must get another plumber. And what's it going to do for you? Maybe get you out of the truck. Right. That's one. It's also going to scale your business, continually grow and scale your business.
Exactly. All right. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
All right. But another saying we have here at MDP is be comfortable being uncomfortable. And this is one of those things that you got to get comfortable at being uncomfortable, because it is an uncomfortable feeling within the front office. Okay. By the way, you don't let your guys know what jobs they have on their schedule. Okay. There's a little bonus point there. Never let the guys know what's on the schedule. They just get the one job. Okay.
That's the only job you have for today.
When they get that done, hopefully, whatever, and then they get another job. Okay. Don't let them, they don't need to know what's on the schedule. They don't see it. Okay. But the front office, and your CSR, and they know that there's, we're expecting, we have these calls on a day, and you have to communicate with your customers.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So there we go. Okay.
So we are booking as we're turning every call that comes into a booked call, right? Every single time. And this point is booking calls for today.
For today. All right. Book
making
every
sure,
call.
as we're booking calls for today, we're making sure that we're prioritizing for profit. Not every call is a profitable call. So you want to move the high profit calls to the front of the line every single time, regardless of when they came in. The high priority calls, the high profit calls goes to the front for sure. And making sure you're keeping your customers informed. If you do have to reschedule someone that's a lower priority or a low profit call, make sure you keep them informed. Have good customer service. Don't leave them hanging. Call them. Let them know what's going on.
That's right. Okay. Hey, if you want to learn more about this, or just on other key things for to build your plumbing business, let's talk. Okay. We'll have a simple conversation. We'll find out what's holding you back, and then come up with a plan to overcome it. All right. And get you pointing in the right direction.
Absolutely.
All right. It's a good time. So simply go to milliondollarplumber.com/call.
CALL/call.
And we'll have a conversation for you and your plumbing business.
Yes.
There we go. All right. That was great. Hey, this is big stuff. Okay. All right. You can turn every call into a book job. I mean, we've done it.
Possible.
We did it. And
our clients are doing it.
Right. All right. But you got to do behave in this manner. Get you off the phone.
Try for 30 days.
Get your wife on the phone.
Yes.
Okay.
For one, get you off the phone.
That's
the first thing.
Okay. Control the call. Don't let them pepper you. All right. All right. Be human. Be empathetic. All right. Oh man, I'm sorry you're out of hot water today. Man, the kids couldn't get back. It's hard enough to get the kids to school. That kind of a thing. Okay. And then book every job for today. Book every job for today. Okay.
That's what we said.
With that,
sticking to it.
Okay. Have every job booked. There we go. Good times. I'm glad you're here. Hey, next time, before we let you go, as always, I want to remind you that you were purposely and wonderfully created, and you were created to do great things. So plumb like a champion.